The world is no stranger to Mario challenge runs, like collecting 0 coins for example. So the Super Mario Bros. Wonder finally out. The era of challenge runs will soon follow. But today, I will answer the question, is it possible to beat Super Mario Bros. Wonder while permanently crouching? Rules are simple. Hold down the crouch button for the entire duration of the playthrough. And as always, if you like the video, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. And now without further ado, let's jump right into the video. The intro is no challenge at all. Just crouch jump along to the title card. The first level is also not very challenging. A trend that also follows the second and third levels as well. So much so that we're able to collect every Wonder Seed in all 3 levels. That puts us at the second area in the first world. Our path is no longer linear, and we are now able to select any level we desire. But first, we need to collect the parachute badge. We then grab a Wonder Seed from Break Time Hurry, a not so difficult level. Afterwards, I made the decision to ban the Wonder Seeds gained from the shop, a decision that I surely would not regret later on, right? Next up is Bull Rush coming through, where I'm able to obtain both Wonder Seeds, plus the seed from reaching the secret exit for a total of 3 seeds. Afterwards, I take on the Wiggler race and win in under a minute. I then decided to attempt Bull Rush Express. However, I deemed it impossible since I was unable to throw the POW blocks while crouching. However, I later learned that you can ground pound them, making the level probable, but I never did return to it. Nevertheless, we can obtain the remaining 2 seeds from Here Come the Hoppos, putting us in place to retake the castle. The level portion of the castle is not very challenging, though I did struggle a bit on Bowser Jr. himself. Although I did beat him on my second try, so we can now move on from World 1 and on to Petal Isles. After grabbing the free seed from the Poplin, we move on to Dolphin Kick 1, which is completely unaffected by crouching, as is Robert Cave and all other water levels. We then take on Bluebird Roost and Leaping Smackerel, which aren't very challenging. Now it is time to take on World 2. We begin by grabbing the free seed, and then move on to Puzzling Park, whose only difficulty lies in my unfamiliarity of where the tokens are. I then take on Outmaway Valley to grab my 3rd Wonder Seed. I then had the crazy idea of attempting Wall Climb Jump 2, because I was convinced that it was possible. You see, if you spin jump and then twirl, you are actually able to grab onto a wall and then wall jump. Using this, I was able to complete the level. Now that we have 4 Wonder Seeds, we can now take on the next level, Condart's Away, and grab both of its Wonder Seeds. Once again, I decided to do another optional hard level. I believed that if I could complete Jump, 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 it would be pretty cool. And cool it was, as we successfully obtained both of its Wonder Seeds after a little bit of struggling. After easily beating Spring Feet 1 and up and down with puffy lifts, we move on to the first airship level, Fluffy Puff Peak's Flying Battleship. The level itself isn't hard, and we're able to collect its Wonder Seed and beat the weird robot thing. With that out of the way, we can take on Cruising with Linking Lifts and move on to the castle. Once again, the level isn't very hard, and neither is Bowser Jr., so we can now move on back to Petal Isles. We can then take on Dolphin Kick 2 as well as the Wiggler race, and finally move to World 3. As always, we grab the free seed and move on to the actual levels. We attempt an empty park, but give up before moving on to the Hoppy Cat trial, Hop Hop and Away. There, we grab both Wonder Seeds and then grab the Wonder Seed from Crouching High Jump 1 and grab its badge. This badge can be useful because it requires us to crouch to use it. Therefore, it's useful in this challenge. Afterwards, we take on the Midway trial, hop to it, and grab its Wonder Seeds before taking on the Sugar Star trial for another easy 2 seeds. Timer Switch Dash is also no challenge at all, so we can now move on to the final trial, Zip Track Dash, where I got very lost. But that's not due to crouching, that's just me being an idiot. But with that out of the way, we can grab the 3rd Royal Seed and head on back to Petal Isles once again. In Petal Isles, we take on Jewel Block Cave and grab both of its Wonder Seeds, so we can reach the entrance to World 4. Once again, we grab the free seed before the actual levels begin. Why do they even give you these? What's the point of it? Anyway, we give up on Pipe Park before attempting Ninja Jump Party. This actually gave me a run for my money, because I had the Crouch High Jump badge equipped. making me jump way higher than usual, causing me to miss my jump in time with the beat. Despite that, however, we beat the level and grabbed its Wonder Seeds. Next up is Armad's on the Roll, which took a little bit of patience to complete, but complete it we did, grabbing both of its Wonder Seeds. Now we move on to Treasure Vault, which is essentially a free Wonder Seed. Parachute Cap 2, however, was not a free seed. It took a little bit of struggling, but in the end, we managed to prevail and grab its Wonder Seed. Valley Full of Snoodles was another relatively easy level, allowing us to grab both of its Wonder Seeds before moving on to Crouching High Jump 2, a level made no more difficult while crouching. Bouncy Tunes is a free Wonder Seed, and Secrets of Shova Mansion isn't very difficult, allowing us to grab all three of its Wonder Seeds. Flight of the Bloomps takes a little bit of patience, but it's not difficult. And after grabbing its Wonder Seeds, we are now able to take on this world's castle. This castle took a few attempts, and was actually pretty difficult, but I managed to get through the level and reach Bowser Jr. once again. This Bowser Jr. fight takes place in water, which honestly makes the fight much easier and gives us more mobility to avoid his attacks. After defeating him, we can return to Petal Isles. There, we take on Petal Isles' flying battleship, which was really easy thanks to the lack of two clouds. We grab its Wonder Seed before taking on Maw Maw Mouthful, whose Wonder Seed we cannot get since crouching prevents you from moving as a Goomba. But we can still grab the seed from reaching the goal. And now, we have enough Wonder Seeds to reach World 5. After grabbing the obligatory free Wonder Seed, we attempt our first level, Upshroom Downshroom, which doesn't pose much of a threat thanks to the drill power-up. After grabbing both of its seeds, we take on Light Switch Mansion for another easy 2 seeds. We then move on to Taylor's Toxic Ponds, where I guessed correctly on the hardest test question I've ever seen, and grab both of its Wonder Seeds, before moving on to Trot and Piranha Plants for another easy Wonder Seed. And with that, we have enough Wonder Seeds to attempt an uncharted area, Weber Ruins, grabbing both of its Wonder Seeds, with no difficulty. Afterwards, we move on to another uncharted area, Swaying Ruins, where we grab both of its Wonder Seeds after a little bit of struggling, before moving on to a final uncharted area, Poison Ruins. After reaching the fake exit, we try again and grab both of its Wonder Seeds before moving on to Operation Poplin Rescue. There, we grab our 5th Royal Seed before moving on back to Petal Isles. Back in Petal Isles, we take on Muncher Fields with a little bit of planning, and take on KO Arena Petal Metal for its Wonder Seed. And with that, we can move on to World 6, the final world. One free Wonder Seed later, we attempt Search Party Item Park and grab its Wonder Seed. Next up is Where the Rumbas Rule for another 2 Wonder Seeds. Then we take on Rargs in the Ruins, grabbing both of its Wonder Seeds. We grab the Wonder Seed from Grappling Vine 2 before heading into Pull, Turn, Burn for both of its Wonder Seeds. And then we can grab another free seed from this Poplin House and then beat Floating High Jump 2 after a little bit of struggling. Another free Wonder Seed later, we go back and grab the Secret Exit Wonder Seed from Where the Rumbas Rule before grabbing Boosting Spin Jump 2's Wonder Seed, putting us at a total of 14 Wonder Seeds, one short from the 15 needed to take on the castle. Now, the only way forward is to take on this world's airship level and get our final Wonder Seed needed to take on the castle. But there's an unforeseen obstacle in our way. These poles. You see, when you're climbing on these poles, pressing the crouch button will cause you to drop from them. So in this case, it forces us to drop into this pit, with no way to seemingly get past it. But there's so many levels that we can just not do this stage, right? Well, as it turns out, we already have every Wonder Seed available before the airship, so that's out of the question. And you know what's worse? If I hadn't banned the shop all the way back in World 1, I'd be able to go right into the castle, but my stubbornness would not allow me to go back on my word. So with seemingly no way forward, is this the end? Was it all for naught? Let's not give up hope just yet. After maxing out my life counter, I jumped right into the airship once again. I learned from all my game overs that if I were to equip the parachute badge and mash the R button, as I climbed onto the poles, the parachute would boost me up just enough to negate the drop that crouching caused me to do, allowing me to successfully clear this first gap. The next obstacle was this fire spitter, but it could be cleared by mashing the jump button like my life depended on it. I once again used the parachute trick in order to clear this gap and decided to skip the Wonder Flower and grab one in a later level. Using the parachute trick once more allowed me to reach the section with the big fireballs, which wasn't too difficult with a little bit of patience. And now we reach the engine room, which can also be cleared with some patience. And with that, the hardest level in the entire run so far is now behind us. We now move on to Hot Hot Hot, where we grab the final Wonder Seed needed to reach the castle. Once again, the castle is not very difficult, but it requires patience. So we can move right on to Bowser Jr. one more time. As always, he doesn't put up much of a fight, so we can turn right on to Petal Isles one last time. As we reach Petal Isles, Bowser finishes charging up his Wonder Power, so we move right on to confront him. But first, we need to complete a few levels. The first of which is Missile Meg Mayhem, which is very doable with a ton of patience. The second level, High Voltage Gauntlet, is also very doable with patience, so we can move right on to the third level, Evade the Secret Bullet Bills. This level is also not very challenging, so we can move on to the final level before we take on Bowser, Knucklefest Bowser's Blazing Beats. Yet another level that is easy with patience. And with all 4 levels out of the way, we can finally confront Bowser. The stage leading up to Bowser took a few attempts, but it is very possible. So now, on to Bowser himself. This fight, while very, very cool, is not too difficult so long as you make sure to grab the power-ups it gives you throughout the fight. Just jump along with the beat, and eventually, Bowser will be defeated, allowing us to grab the final Royal Seed and finally complete the game. So yes, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder while permanently crouching. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you like the video, subscribe, hit the like button. See you in the next one.